here. What's up, everybody? It's your favorite. As soon as I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Favorite nerd. And today we are looking at the DX9 War in Pocket Jungle Warrior Quaker. Quaker. Not like the gentleman from Pennsylvania, but like Earthquaker. So this is on loan to me from Robert D. This is a Legends class Sludge. I thought I was done with Dinobots. Apparently I am not. This is a Legends class Sludge, and I'm impressed about a few things right out of the box. But before we get into this, it's on loan to me from Robert D. I love him. I recently saw a high school picture of him, a high school yearbook picture of him that another viewer sent me, and I enjoyed that maybe even more than I enjoy Robert D's company, but it's a close call either way. To honor Robert D, I'm having a cup of coffee out of one of my pretty fancy Lord of the Rings coffee mugs. It's not really a Lord of the Rings coffee mug. It's just a regular coffee mug. But, and you can see there's coffee in there, so I'm not faking the funk, as it were. But he always gives me a hard time about my coffee mugs and how pretty they are, as if that makes me somehow less of a man. But I got news for you, Robert. Still a manly man. Look, I do macho stuff. I got a little fridge filled with beers. But it was filled with beers yesterday. I got a red stripe in there. It's not mine. I only have one left because Mr. Russman came through and we crushed out a few. And look, I got a little drawer full of tools here. I got screwdrivers and, little tools. I'm manly. I got a drill. This isn't the drill. I grabbed the wrong one, but I have one. This is a hair dryer. It's not for my hair. It's not what it looks like. Look, I don't have to explain myself to you, all right? Anyway, Sludge. He comes with accessories. We'll talk about them first. Mainly, just this translucent red sword. No paint, or sword, rather. Tons of sculpt work in it, though, and it is accurate to Sludge, so good on him for that. And his signature rifle. And no paint, once again, but they got the sculpt dead on. There is a bit of nasty giblets on here. Like, you see that? The little wet stuff, so to speak. I would give that a little rinse if I were him. And now we'll talk about him. And look, I'm gonna just measure him because I don't know what people would really want to see him with. I don't have many Legends class figures. So to the tip of his tail, he's about 7 3/4 inches, and then he's about 3 inches tall. I will show a size comparison in robot mode. Actually, you know what? Here, there's Iron Factory. I have this guy handy, and there's Power Glide. There, does that work? Okay. One thing I love right out of the box is the yellow. Everybody has gone with gold or metallic yellow paint or, translucent yellow. Like, I like the yellow. It's like it gives me nostalgic feels. Now, it's interesting to me that they went with the yellow from the tune and then the silver instead of the gray from the tune. That seems a bit weird, and as a result, I personally, I'm not crazy about the deco. I wish they would have gone with just tune, because I like if this was like a gray paint, like almost maybe a metallic gray paint. Like that would have maybe done more for me. Now, of course, that's subjective. It's totally up to you. Or like the white tail, like I do dig it. I will say also that the head looks a little plain just because of how painted the rest of this is. I mean, there's finish everywhere. There's paint details everywhere. I've actually looked at other DX9's Legends before. I just haven't published them yet. But I have a few coming. Shout out to Ace. He let me hold a few. Was that Robert? I can't remember. I think it was Ace. It doesn't matter. I love them both. But yeah, this is otherwise it's either way, okay, it's impressive. It's impressive in the sense of how much paint and finish is on this thing. It's just whether or not you like the way they did it. I'm okay with it ultimately. I just think it's a weird combination. But I am okay with it, and I like the yellow more than I thought I would have had you said it was yellow. So, articulation-wise, you can untab this maybe? No, you cannot. So you get a swivel at the head, and you get the jaw articulation to there, and we have blue chrome paint on the eyes, which looks good. All of the front legs are on swivels, which is fine. And then an elbow joint, or knee joint, I guess, rather, and that's it. The back actually do come out on a hinge, and then they swivel as well, so it's like a universal joint. in the back, and then they have a knee as well. No, it's a biceps. They have a bicep swivel and a knee because that's the hand. So yeah, you know, that's the down and dirty of this in terms of dinosaur mode. I think it's pretty cool. All right, let's transform him. This is kind of one of those recent third-party pieces that kind of explodes and comes back together. And it's just, you need to kind of open all this stuff up the best you can. Bring the tail down. Let's see if we can't get these pieces unpegged here. I tell you what, this splits open also. There. We'll separate that. Why is this eating me up? There. Just tight like a tiger. Good. Split the legs. And this gets a little hairy also, so to speak. Just getting this around. Open that up so that you get the clearance, and then bring this down and swivel it around. And I'll show you better on this side. This hinges out, and then you can extend the thigh, and then you can swivel this whole piece around, and then this tail needs to come to the inside of the leg as you close it up. All right, let's sort some of this stuff up top. You can swivel this chest piece around here, and then close this. Fold the tail back, and now we'll finish the legs. So these actually extend, and it's also tight like a tiger, and it should do so in a way that it clears the back part of this calf and fills out the rest of the leg. This one, you have to have the head a certain kind of way. I'll try to illustrate that the best I can. I think it's like this, so that the nose of the unit is pointing towards the heel, and then the same thing with the leg. You bring it around, and that hides it. And the arms, just bring them around, do your third party, open up, and there's no way to get that out of there. So we'll give him a sword to do so. And then same on this side. And then it's a twofer. That's how I feel like. You get to see that he holds his gun as well. So, and sword. And then close that up. And I'll get him cleaned up. We'll take a look at it. Actually, you know what? I think he's clean enough. You know what I mean? Let's not get crazy. All right, so let's zoom in a bit. The head sculpt is money, and so is the paint that's applied to it. It is on a ball peg, as you can see. If you gotta lean it back right there, but it is also tight. You know, it's very tight. So you'll get the swivel. You won't get anything up and down really as this closes in and encompasses it, and this piece doesn't open in the typical Sludge fashion. Brilliant blue paint on the eyes, brilliant silver paint on the face, silver paint on the helmet. It looks great. Well done. Black paint added to the details in the chest. You don't get a waist swivel. I thought you would. You do not. That's a bummer. You get a reverse ab crunch, but it really destroys the sculpt. So, you know, good luck using it. It's not impossible, but it's going to be a bit challenging to make it look right. Let's back out a little as we talk about the rest. So the wings are on ball pegs, which is nice, so you can articulate them a bit, you know, about this far up and then down. You know, not a ton of options, but it does have them. You have a butterfly joint basically at the hinge, out and up, which gets you to 90 degrees. Bicep swivel. Yeah, the same elbow, which is also very tight. They get you 90 degrees. No wrist swivel, but he does hold his weapon. Same for the other side. blue paint detailing is on the pelvis, and then the legs are on ball pegs, and they're loose. You know, like fit and finish of this thing is kind of all over the place. But you do get the full Van Damme and close to the full Monty. You get a thigh swivel at the actual thigh, and you have a knee hinge to get you just shy of 90 degrees. I think it's close enough. No ankle tilt, rocker, or swivel, so it's fairly limited in the articulation department. But it is great in the sculpt department, which is interesting to me because that's not usually how I find DX9 figures to be. But let's do a size comparison. So there he is for a size comparison with Hasbro's Power Glide and Iron Factory's Blaster. Now here's the thing about this. I think he works really well with the Hasbro ones. He doesn't really work well with the Iron Factory ones, but most Legends class don't work well with the Iron Factory ones because they're small even by small standards. I have looked at DX9's RC and Cup. That review will come eventually. It's done. It's just waiting for an opening. There's been so much stuff coming out recently. But I can't remember how big they were. I thought I remember them being bigger than an average Legend. So I would, I'm not sure how they look side by side, but I would guess it's acceptable. I don't know. And another thing I want to mention is you can flip this crotch piece up here. And then you can get the full Monty as well. It's worth noting. Final thoughts wise, here's the negatives, okay? They're brief, but they are significant. There are articulation limitations. We don't have a waist swivel. We have nothing for the ankles, which we should probably expect. No wrist swivel. And it seems like we should have a reverse ab crunch, but we don't even really get that, it seems. Like, it becomes difficult to pose. I got him in a pretty decent pose here, but, you know, the ankle kind of fails him. But I really, like, I would have been floored if the ankle did have a rocker, but I don't think that's a realistic expectation for the average Legends class figure. The other issue is tolerances. And not tolerances for the engineering, but tolerances for the mechanic, like the articulation of the figure. Like the ball pegs on the hips are so loose that he fails under his own weight a fair amount of the time, and a lot of the other joints are really tight. The head ball peg is super tight. The bicep swivel super tight. The elbows super tight. Like it's just so inconsistent across the board. It's funny to me that the playability of the figure has some limitations and the sculpt of the figure is so on the money, because generally, like I stated before, I usually find that I'm not crazy about DX9 sculpts, but I find that their playability is on the high side. And this is the opposite of that, which does just boggle my mind. On the positive side, though, he does present extremely well. He has a ton of paint on him. The sculpt is phenomenal. The materials feel good. He cleans up fairly well, you know, especially for a Legends class figure. Like, all that stuff tucks away. The legs, the head, like, only thing that's left out is the tail, which is impressive. And, I think he has a strong presence, especially with the other Hasbro scale stuff. So, like, for a Legends class collection. So, here's the thing, like, I recommend him, just be aware of the limitations, because he's not a bad toy. And even the articulation I can kind of forgive, given that it's a Legends class figure. Like, I give some leeway there. But the thing that is kind of inexcusable is the joint tolerances. Like, that really should have been sorted. That really takes away from the playability and the enjoyment of the figure. So, one of these kind of play at your own risk sort of situations, but there's a lot of good here. There's enough good for me to give this a recommend, even though it has a fair amount of issues. Must be all that paint. Paint can go a long way, Mac. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.